Lord. I had just posted that throwback. Who, Lord, is all that I can say. All that I can say. All that I can say. All that I can say is woo, Lord. Sometimes, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Woo! Today has been a day. Welcome, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey. Today has been a day. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope y'all is doing all right today. I hope y'all is doing all right today, y'all. It is just Sylvie. It is just me, just Sylvie, just coming to bring you a little bit of that 414, that one in the middle for some balance. Because we don't always see things the same way. They may see things this way. You may see things that way. But if we come together and just talk a spell, have some effective communication, we may at least be able to get a better understanding. Understanding does not mean that we are going to agree. We are not supposed to always agree with one another. We're not robots. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. We just have to, we should be respecting one another though. Respecting one another's opinions, respecting one another's ways that we choose to live our lives does not mean you even condone the way somebody is living their life. But I got to respect the way you gonna live your life. If you can't stand me, I got to respect that. It don't even mean I got to can't stand you back. All it means is if you can't stand me, you stay over there and I stay over here and we all right. But if you can't stand me and then you bring that in my face and expect that I'm just supposed to sit back and just let you disrespect me because you can't stand me, then you got another thought coming. That's all that I'm saying. I hope that y'all are having a great, great start to your week. Today, Sunday, is the first day of the week. Last week is gone. Whatever troubles may have come with it, they are gone. I hope that if you did not have a great week last week, that your week get better. That's what I had to tell the little girl in Kroger today because my day started early this morning and they wanted to get on top of me. They wanted the day to get on top of me and just not allow me to just have a good day. And I just sat there and I was just like, okay, God, I believe, Lord, that this is you and you are wanting me to get something out of this day that may not go my way. Everything is not always going to go your way. Although the Most High God turned that thing around in my favor. Turn that thing around in my favor. I left my phone in the Uber. And before I got away from the register in the Walmart, I just whispered a little prayer and was like, okay, God. You worked it out for my favor in the store because I didn't think things was going to work out in my favor in the store. So you worked it out for my favor in the store, Lord. Do you think just by any means that you might let that lady come back to this Walmart with my phone? Because I didn't even know how I was going to know that my next Uber was coming because I ain't had no phone to get no notification. Lord, if she could just be out there when I get out there. You feel me? And one thing for sure and two things for certain, I rolled on out there because I was on a little buggy because this meniscus don't always want to be walking. Sometimes it wants to ride on the buggy, excuse me. And when I'm going to the grocery store, taking that walker is just redundant because I'm going to walk with a walker and then walk with the cart. Or I have rolled in the buggy and put the walker on the buggy, and that is no bueno. It's no fun to do that. Like, that is just taking up extra space. And when I'm trying to do a little grocery shopping, I might want to put a little more than what's going to fit in that buggy. So when I rolled out of that Walmart, one thing for sure and two things for certain, that young lady got out of her car and walked up to that Walmart door like, did you lose something? Did you leave something in my car? I said, look at you, God. And I just began to praise. Praise. I didn't have a Bible with me in the world. That's why I'm not getting. I don't care what y'all say, and I don't care what y'all believe. I don't. But you can't make me believe that there's no God. God don't got to be in the sky, because God encamps its angels around me wherever I go. God is with me. I will never leave you nor forsake you, is what God said to me. And that is whether things are going the way I feel like they should go or not. God is always working it out for my good and for its glory. Today, it just worked out in my favor. That's awesome. That's awesome. When I got over to Kroger and I asked the little girl how she was doing, she was like, it's not going too good. Well, I hope it get better for you, baby. I hope it get better for you, because my day was trying to be the same way. And she has to be at Kroger until 5 o'clock. And that was good. And this morning, when I went to Kroger, and I told her, I said, well, you got a pretty smile, even though you ain't really quite smile. I can tell that that's a pretty smile. And so she gave me a little bit of a smile. It was still amongst the sadness that whatever was going on with her, she broke that little smile, because I called on that smile. I called it out of her. And then she went on to bag my stuff. She was like, let me hurry up because the Uber called while I was in there. Let me hurry up. So, baby, don't you even worry your pretty little head about hurrying up. You just do what you got to do to get through your day. Because one thing for sure and two things for certain. I got a phone now, so if that Uber leaves, I promise you, another one will come. You just take your time. Then she said, well, you want me double bag your stuff? I sure don't. Why? Because I'm about to get in that Uber, and I don't want, she was like, well, I don't want you to have to be doing all that extra work. Because I was like, if the stuff falls by the time I get out of the Uber and into my house, let's pick it up. I don't want you to do all that extra work. I don't want you to do all that extra work, because you are having a hard day today. It don't take nothing to be kind. No, I'm not nice. If you go and look up the word nice, look up the origins of the word nice. No, I'm not nice. But I have so much kindness in my heart. And two things can be true at the same time, because sometimes she's very, very, very feisty. But that's why God said don't allow your buttons to be pushed, so I won't be walking around all the days of my life very, very, very feisty, y'all. So, again, like I stated, we hope, and we would be me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. That y'all are having a wonderful day today. And if it is not a wonderful day as of yet, I do hope that it becomes a better day for you. So y'all see all that body, and them lovely ladies. Look, this is what I don't like. I watch a lot of content creators. I watch some for entertainment. I watch some for content. What I don't like is the way that you see people when they do their thumbnails, and they're going to go, if they get ready to talk something that may not be so pleasing about a person, they are going to get the worst pictures of people. I want people at their best. So if I want people at their best, why am I going to go try to dig up or Photoshop a picture that's going to have them looking the horriblest? Sometimes I make up words. And let me just go ahead and say I don't own any of the rights to any of the music that you may just hear me pop out and sing as I did at the beginning. Hey, 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 welcome, 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 you guys. I would greatly appreciate it if y'all would like, share, and subscribe. So today we're going to start with that DL Hughley that I was watching on Instagram, right? Woo, this one was a doozy. And then there was no arguments or anything, but I was on that thread for a good part of yesterday. So it is apparently a social media couple. I don't know their names, but they do social media together as a couple. And D.L. Hughley posted a video of them because they were in the kitchen cooking as a couple. Cutesy, you in there cooking with your bae. I can dig it. Bae did not seem to have ever been in the kitchen before in life. So wifey was like, and I don't know if they are married, like married, but I'm going to just use the term wifey and bae because I don't know their names. So wifey was like, bae, wash the chicken. So when the video first comes on, you're seeing bae and he's showing you all these seasonings that he about to use on the chicken and everything like that. So then wifey turns around and she was like, why is this water soapy? And she proceeds to cursing him out. One commenter said she used the F-bomb 15 plus times. I didn't go back and count it, but I know I heard it quite a few times. I heard the F-bomb quite a few times. She was cursing him out because he said, you told me to wash the chicken. And I know that I have said on this platform numerous amounts of times about myself, I am very literal. But I will go behind that and say what one young man said in that comment, that chat group, or that chat thread, excuse me. This is the young man, he says the same thing I just said. I am very literal. He said the only reason that I will defend that I may have known what she was talking about is because I learned how to cook as a child. She proceeded to pick the chicken up, and they looked like they was chicken wings, and we know how expensive groceries are, but anybody who cooks chicken wings know that before the groceries began to become expensive, chicken wings were never cheap. Chicken wings are the very most expensive part of the chicken that you can go into the store and buy. So she proceeds to pick the chicken wings up and go throw it in the trash can, and then she proceeds to walk over there to the stove and turn off everything. I ain't even cooking no more. You just da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, she lit into this dude. And I had to make the comment, he's not your child, but even your child wouldn't have deserved that. So everybody in the comment thread, and I should have did a poll. It asked me if I wanted to do a poll. I should have did a poll on it because everybody in the comments were divided because people were saying she was too harsh. If it wasn't that she was too harsh, people were saying that he didn't have no common sense. Because people were like, you could have just told him what to do. You could have just corrected him, told him what his mistake was. You didn't have to talk down on him like he was beneath you. People were calling the man slow as if they knew him. People were saying it's not our, whose fault is it that he didn't learn when he was young? We had to learn when we was young as girls how to do this. And people were wondering why she threw away the chicken. So many things. And let me tell you my viewpoint on it, because this is where my conversation had to go back and forth. And the last young lady, when I said, okay, that part, I think she thought that I was in agreement with what she was saying. I wasn't throwing away the wings. Call me what you want. Tell me you won't ever want to eat at my house if you don't like. I wasn't throwing away the wings. What I was going to do was give them a food bleach bath, because food bleach consists of vinegar and lemon juice and ice baths. I was going to food bleach bath those chicken wings because they was going to get ate. One thing for sure, two things for certain. Best believe they was going to get ate. So I was going to food bleach those jokers. So the girl was like, some dishwashing detergent has formaldehyde in it. I said, well, one person was like, the soap is absorbed into the chicken. I said, well, do you think that things like E. coli and salmonella just sit on top of the chicken? Is that what you think? Because you washing it to get those things off. And then we went into the FDA debate, which me and my cousin talked about years ago. The FDA won't say what FDA is saying now. How things just turned, altered. I talked about that on my last live. Things be altered. You have to be alert because things be altered. All that AI that I was watching before I came live, we'll talk about that in a minute. Things just be altered. Back in the day, they was wanting you to clean your chicken because you was worrying about you anything that you use, anywhere that you use, may have used something, put it on your counter. Make sure you cleaning your counters thoroughly because of salmonella, E. coli. Make sure you clean it, make sure you clean it, make sure you clean it. So the young lady goes in and she says that, well, those are things, black people clean it. And she had a black picture. I don't know if she was black or not. Well, black people clean their chicken because they are removing the bacteria and to give them peace of mind. And you know, the FDA does not really say that that is so. I said, the last thing that I said on her comment was the E. coli and everything. And no, that was before she put that. So when she put that, we clean it for bacteria's sake, but she was the same one saying formaldehyde, and she was like, why would you want to risk that? I think that you're risking that it might not get clean enough anyway, even if you got E. coli on it, if you got salmonella on it. So I'm going to run that risk. All things in moderation. I'm not sitting around eating soapy water chicken all the days of my life. But the young man made a mistake. I was glad to see that there were women who was calling her to the mat, because oh so often all of the women are just going to have her back. I have said that many a times, especially about the fight Dawn, because he talks about infidelity. All too often the women are going to have that woman's back and they're going to tear that man down. And somebody said, who? But I didn't even say that on the comment. I said it to God. I said God. I said it out loud. I was just sitting here and I was going back and forth on the comments and everything. I said, God, what if the tables was turned, Lord? What if that was a man that just drug her for filth because she cleaned the chicken wrong, because she was literal and we don't know what he taught? Or as my cousin's sister said, he could have been taught. That's how she said, I know a woman that cleaned her chicken with bleach. Ooh, that's a lot for me, but to each their own. If she was living to tell it, evidently the bleach didn't kill her. Unalive her. Sorry, YouTube. But evidently the bleach was all right on it. I'm not going to clean my chicken. I got food bleach. I got food bleach. But he may have learned to clean the chicken in soapy water, or he may have never learned to clean chicken at all. One woman was like, well, his mother would have popped him in the head. If he would have cleaned that chicken wrong, if he would have cleaned that chicken wrong, his mother would have fussed at him and popped him in the head. I would hope not. I would hope that his mother would have led by example. If you're in the kitchen and you're teaching your child how to cook, nobody that ever taught me how to cook anything just threw me into that thing without me knowing how to do anything. That was never the case. I was always told how to do it. Even if my peoples would have, because I was raised by a village, even if my peoples would have washed a couple of pieces of chicken and was like, this is how, and you know, with them legs and be having that yellow thing, and you got to get that off with the knife. This is what I did with my daughters as well. Taught them according to how I was taught. You got to get that off. You got to pluck them feathers off. And I'm going to just know how to do all of that. You got to soak it in salt water for a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to just know how to do all of that. But we just assume that that young man, it's a man and he's just supposed to know how to do it. And if he don't know how to do it, there is no grace. But supposing that he would have drugged that woman for filth. I believe this is my belief and my opinion based off of how I watch content about men and women and how I see it differ. And this is never me saying that men don't do wrong, that men don't have biased opinions. I watch men have biased opinions too. Look, I'm going to check bias wherever I'm at. But this platform is for women. If I'm on a comment thread and it's men talking in a mighty biased way, I'm going in there to throw in, let me put a monkey wrench in here. Just so you know it's real. But if the Most High told me to talk to women, then I don't have to spend the days of my life on this platform condoning or not condoning what men do, because a lot of times we're going to do that in our emotions. And that's all that I said. There was a bunch of emotions there that gave that man no leeway and no understanding, and just, like I said, they were calling the man slow. And some people was like, well, if he's slow, would that make her? Because she felt like she needed to embarrass him to get her point across. But there were many people that said that they were still going to cook that chicken. There was a few in there that was like, yeah, no, we're going to throw it away. But even if you wanted to throw it away, my whole thing is you never have to talk to another human being and degrade them or make them feel less than to get your point across. I can have a conversation with somebody as long as it's respectful. When that stuff with the Cincinnati brawl was going on and I was on TikTok and they came into that video that I made because they didn't like that I was saying that the man that started it, the man that threw the first lick, even some people on YouTube was coming at my neck about it. The man that threw the first lick needs to be in jail as well because he started the fight. Because I like to look at if the tables is turned. That's a good way of, you see things this way, I see things that way, come together for some effective communication. We might get some understanding. If we flip some tables sometime, we might get some understanding. I think that chick was totally wrong. I'm not saying that man was right for putting that chicken in no soapy water, but I'm saying that she did not have to talk to that man that way. Ladies, you do not have to talk to anybody that way. We don't even gotta talk to our children that way. When you get to screaming on people and embarrassing people, a lot of times, oftentimes, they are going to shut down. And I promise you'll have that problem again. One woman was like, he just did that because he didn't want to be asked to do anything. Well, he acted like he was having fun in the kitchen cooking, so I don't think that that would be the case. And if they're doing it for content, they're probably out there trying to make money. They seem to probably have been a larger platform wherever their platform is. So if he don't do it again, that means they're not making no money. It's all. Now let's talk about this AI just a little bit more. Just a little bit more, because this AI is crazy. Alert. Must be alert, and we must be checking for the signs. And I said the last time, I don't always know, so I go on Instagram and I see a crocodile coming for the baby. The baby is just sitting there squatted down outside of his house, and and mama says, "Is that a crocodile?" The baby said, "Mama, I'm just trying to give him a little candy." The baby looked like he was probably about 3 or 4 years. "Mama, I'm just trying to give him a little candy." And then you see the crocodile get right up there as the mama is coming outside the door to snatch her baby up. You see the crocodile open his mouth wide and then back up. That's when I started just screaming, this got to be AI. This has got to be AI. I said, "Boo, I'm sending it to you." That's my cousin's sister. "Boo, I'm sending it to you." My sister cousin. However, she's my sister more than she's my cousin. So when she looked at it, she was like, if it could be real depending on where it was at. And then I called her attention to some of the things that the chat was saying, because I hadn't even gone into the chat when I said this has got to be AI. I just knew he opened his mouth like he was going to snap her whole arm off and get a little bit of the baby too. And then backed up. That don't seem crocodile-ish to me. IJS. Didn't seem crocodile-ish to me. I could be wrong. So she started looking at it. And I said, well, one of the comments said, look at his feet and look at the shadows. And you just saw it kind of glitching at the feet as the crocodile was walking. But she said, and I hadn't even said it to her, she said, when I figured it out is when he went to act like he was going to attack her and back up. I said, boo, that's all I said. I said, that's what made me say, is it AI? That's what made me say, is it AI? I said, because that crocodile was too close for comfort. Y'all, I used to watch that show and I used to love it. I'm 51, so I know old shows. Not old shows, but I know some old shows. Welcome, 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 you guys. I would love it if y'all would like, share, and subscribe. Please and thank you in advance. And then I goes on to TikTok right before I came up here. I went on a TikTok to post my praiseworthy video. I had to make a little video about praising the Most High God when all of that stuff went on during my day this morning. And as I was posting that video, I had to find myself in another area of praise because the day has continued to try and catch hold of me. But we form our days. We are in control of whether we have a good day or a bad day. My sister said, I'm gonna just call her my sister because sister cousin too much. My sister said she was talking to somebody and she was they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and she said something, and he was like, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to feel. For you to want something means that you chose to allow yourself to stay in that place. And then as the conversation went on, she said something else, and he was like, you act like I chose this. I said, well, I took her back. Well, didn't he say this is how he want to feel at the beginning of the conversation? Because if that's how he wanted to feel, then that is God will give you exactly what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. Unless you do. And you might not always get it, but sometimes God will give you exactly what you want. You want to be in a miserable place? God will, and it's not even God giving it to you. It's what you chose, and God will just sit back and allow you to do it. Well, if you want to choose to be miserable today, then have at it. And God will just sit back and eat popcorn, probably caramel cheddar popcorn, because that is the great popcorn there. Go get y'all some Credos caramel cheddar popcorn. I promise you'll thank me later, if you are a popcorn buff. But anywho, I goes on TikTok, and the first thing I see when I go on TikTok is Tupac talking about his cheesy rap snacks. And he ain't mad at ya. What is at ya? He ain't mad at ya. He ain't mad at ya. He ain't mad at ya. That was a great looking AI of Tupac. It was AI. This AI ain't no joke. And you have, I'm just watching out, don't watch The View, but there was a Google article about Whoopi Goldberg talking about some celebrity. You got AI celebrities. This is all so that they can divide and create an atmosphere where people don't believe that they need people. And the Most High put us up here to fellowship with people, because God made people, and there will be no creation ever better than people. God handcrafted us, and we all different, even though they say we got doppelgangers and twins and all of those things like that. We are all different. Even the most identical of identicals are all different. We all got that something. Everybody got that something. Everybody got that something. Everybody got that something. You feel me? So I'm just saying, be a little bit alert of this AI that's going on out here, because AI is really real, and they is doing things and the stuff with the AI. So we're gonna read the scripture right quick. And then we're gonna come back and talk about Bad Baby, Keke Wyatt, and Brittany Renner. I don't really know Bad Baby, but I love Brittany Renner and Keke Wyatt. I met Brittany Renner. Well, I didn't meet Brittany Renner, but I came in contact with Brittany Renner watching Basketball Wives. And Keke Wyatt has just always had one of the most amazing voices that I've ever heard in life. And Whoopi Goldberg, by the way, I didn't say what she was basically saying what I was saying. AI can never amount to us. And if you look closely enough, you will be able to always tell that it's AI. But they, like, that chick, that celebrity, I forget what her name is, but if you look up Whoopi Goldberg talking about AI, you'll see. You'll see. So I got some Proverbs 5 and 11 for you. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and body are consumed. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and body are consumed. We talking mental anguish. Mental anguish that ensues when health is ruined and wealth is squandered. And those three women that I'm talking about, I ain't saying they don't, one of them got no health issues. But I'm saying that the way that they be out here on these social media streets, it makes me wonder if they are squandering wealth or if they have squandered wealth. But it is saying that these things can lead to health. If we know stress can lead to physical ailments, if you are taking too much stress into your body, you can become physically ill. Said the loud wail of lamentation, the groaning indicative of intense mental suffering, called forth by remembrance of past folly, and which sees no remedy in the future. And this is where these three ladies, where I chose these three ladies, because, and for those that may not know what folly is, and foolishness. And that would be the common denominator. And I apologize, but God told me I got to come up here and talk to the ladies, and I got to step on toes sometimes. And foolishness is not something that we want to stay walking in. If we do foolish things, we don't just want to walk around just being foolish all the days of our lives. So let's talk about Bad Baby. So Bad Baby comes online, and she is talking about how she's never going back to this man because he hit her 500 times. She ain't never going back. Done talked about how all of the women that might be involved with him is stupid because he not leaving her alone. Now this is after, because she goes back. After she makes a video talking about he hit her 500 times, she crying, no tears, and then she makes a video to let you know that she took him back. And then she makes a video to let you know that anybody that be dealing with him, y'all is stupid because he's not gonna leave me alone, and he got some very prevalent form of an STD. And all I'm thinking to myself is, you are warding all the other women away from the STD-ridden, beat you 500 times, Dusty, Pookie. And make no mistake about it, Pookie's come in all colors, shapes, sizes, and financial backgrounds. Pookie is an attitude. Pookie has nothing to do with the amount of money that you have or you don't have, because there are Pookies with a whole lot of money out there. I promise you that. So you choose to stay with all of this, but you're calling the women stupid if they choose to come in and get in on a piece of that. Now I have to say, if you know, be like the, I would say that you would want to just start trying to be like the man on Pop the Balloon, because I done started watching Pop the Balloon, y'all. There's content in Pop the Balloon, and I'm not gonna really talk about Pop the Balloon today. That one man said that our first date, he said not our first date, but our second date will be on to the health clinic. He said, because if there's going to be anything that is going to be sexual between us, we are going to get checked to make sure that you're okay, because I go every 3 months to make sure that I'm okay. That would be my suggestion to these young ladies out here. Instead of just vibing and just giving us up to these men that have made no kind of commitment. That goes back to the video that I made about moving in with these boyfriends. If you just giving yourself to these men, and I have compassion for someone who is being abused, I promise you that. I have been brought to a place of compassion. But when you are out here monetizing it, that makes me question your motives. If you are monetizing women that are really struggling through physical abuse, they're not out here just monetizing it. They're not out here just coming on social media and turning on cameras for the likes and the views. They are either trying to get out or figure out how they're going to get out, or scared to get out, so they're staying and enduring this thing in secret and in private. They're not bringing the world into their homes and into their bedrooms, bad baby. This is Auntie Sylvie just trying to talk to you, just a spell. Because for the love of money, people will turn on that camera. For the love of money. I ain't know what I was going to say next, so I just didn't say nothing at all. I didn't want to say anything unkind. But it makes me struggle with compassion when you are putting yourself in front of the camera. Because if someone is really abusing you, wouldn't the first communication you want to make is maybe to law enforcement? To try to figure out, I have been privy. I know someone right now who runs a home for women who have been physically abused, and make sure that that man don't find you. Nobody, if she allows you to come into that place, nobody can know where you stay. Not your family, not nobody. Not nobody. So there are things that can be done. But to put it out here on public social media, baby, it's never going to be one. You just lost one. You just lost one. You just lost one. What a bum bum. You feel me? The flesh and the body combining two terms to express and so to give force to one idea. Your flesh is just your flesh. Your flesh is just your flesh. But when it say your flesh and your body, is something inside your body. It's bones in there, and it's cartilage in there, and it's organs in there. So when it say your flesh and your body, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, utter destruction of the libertine. The libertine is a person first, But then it says, especially a man, because I will always go back to Ringo. If we are evil, how much more are they? So it says a person, and then comma, especially a man. But a person means you too, ladies. Lacking moral behavior. A libertine is a person lacking moral behavior. So if we don't want to be morally upright, especially because a lot of times when we young, we just think we can do what we want to do, how we want to do, when we want to do, we gonna do it. Especially when we get grown. When you're grown, you're grown. I'm grown. You can't tell me nothing because I'm grown. We've been there. And a lot of times, I even hear my daughters say in their 30s things that Lord, if I'd have listened to that back then. But when we right there in the midst of that thing, and y'all know I always be talking about the sin and how the sin is never going to come to you wrapped up in an ugly package. Sin is always going to look great. Sin is going to feel great. Sin is going to smell great. Sin is going to taste great. Sin is going to be great, 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 great. In my Sherman Klump voice. Tell somebody about old Sylvie. Y'all tell somebody about old Sylvie now. Says religion for the God, sin for the bad. Excuse me, that's supposed to be good. Religion for the good, sin for the bad. And this is religion, because Lord knows that I don't like religiosity. But religion at its best is going to build moral character. We're not talking about being suppressed by it. We're not talking about not having critical thinking skills because of it. Religion at its best is to build good moral character. Be holy, for I am holy. What is holy except that God is the best of the best of the best? And look, Sylvia always says, see, the Most High God likes to be able to talk to us. And I know that in that Bible, the Most High God spoke through a still small voice and through burning bushes and things like that. But generally, God is going to speak through people, places, and things. Now, I'm going to tell you places because these next 6 classes that I'm going to speak about are only going to tell you about things and people. So I'm going to tell you places. So supposing, you lived in a certain place all your life and you said you had to get away, even though I will always say you carry you wherever you go. So until that mindset becomes different, then you kind of going to carry you wherever you go. So you decide you're going to visit this place. You've been gone for a minute. You're doing good. But there can still be triggers. And the moment you go back to your old neighborhood, you ain't even seen nobody. You start feeling triggered. That's a place. That's a place speaking to your spirit. You might not want to come back here for too long, and if you come back here, you might just want to see those of your family members and friends that you know are going to lift you up. Don't be trying to get around them other ones that had you feeling like you could do anything you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it, because it feel great, taste great, look great, sound great. They had your body and your flesh consumed and your health ruined, utter destruction. That's a place. But now let me tell you some people and some things. Come on now. God. 6 classes of reprovers and instructors. We talked about reproof the other day when I was live about 3 weeks ago. That is correction. Instructors are teachers. Your connections in life, your mother, your father, and it says your father first. Your father, your mother, your friend, any family member, anybody that wants the best for you. A friend, a teacher, a stranger, a person. That's a people. The scriptures, that's a thing. Ministers, that's a people. Conscious, that's a thing. Irrational creatures, I'm gonna guess that's a people. It could be a thing though. But they trying to teach you and reprove you. The dispensation of providence, that's fate. If fate don't show you, buddy, said if all men believed at the beginning of their courses of life what they find at the end, there will be far less power in temptation. Oh, if only you know how much sin do on you. It wants you and it'll get you if you let it. But if we knew the end at the beginning, basically is what that's saying. If we knew the end at the beginning, we might think a little bit. Temptation might not be able to get hold of us a little bit like it be doing. You feel me? But it says that the young take no pain to conscience. Because you young and you just feel like you run the world. Girls and boys. Who run the world? Young. Who run the world? Young. Who run the world? Can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nothing tell you nothing. Can't no place and nobody and no nothing tell you nothing. And so how you gonna ever hear from God? IJS. The most defiant spirit in the young is in the young. It says that, oh no, the most defiant spirit in the young thinks sin is a good way to move because they see people prospering, people who you don't know what people may do to prosper, what doors they walk through to prosper. You don't know where a person's character is when they get to a point of prosperity, and we're talking financial prosperity. You don't know that. And this would be mainly talking to those of us who are in relation with the Most High God. This here. It says, put your trust in God and in the faith of God, and not in the seeming of deceitful and apparently prosperous men. Now let's talk about Brittany. I was so team Brittany, and I'm still, I don't get off of people's teams. I am always the underdog, but what I would always want to know, because I hear a lot of people talking about choosing me and working on self-improvement, and then your actions not particularly lining up with choosing you and working on self-improvement. Because I have watched Brittany Renner go, and look, I watch O'Shea Duke Jackson, and anytime he talks about Brittany Renner, most often he's gonna say, I was team her when she decided she was going to live a Muslim lifestyle. I was like, yay, that people were talking so negative. I'm like, no, she's young, and I'm still there. I'm still there. But I had no clue that even before she walked into this Muslim lifestyle, she had a thing for Kevin Gates. Y'all can go look up some of these names if y'all are not familiar. Because when I watch these things, I watch them for teachable moments, because these can be things that people go through regardless of if you're a celebrity or not. So I had no clue that she had a thing for Kevin Gates. And so you see her, she's doing her videos. That is my concern when someone is declaring that they are on a path to self-improvement. I have no problem with that at all. But I would say that it's really hard if everything you do, you are bringing to social media for social media attention. And so Brittany was doing her thing as far as living a Muslim lifestyle. And then the next thing you know, it pops out and she's married to Kevin Gates. And I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? And Kevin Gates is already married. Kevin Gates got a whole wife. He got a whole wife. Now, let me tell you something. Like I said, I respect people's choices to do what people are going to do. And although polygamy is not legal in the United States, there are people living, I think they maybe go other places. I don't know where they go and get married. I don't know. I don't know who married them, if they flew off to another country and got married, but I'm believing that in the Muslim community, some Muslims practice, and it may be Muslims out of this country, practice multiple wives. I want to say that Tasha K says that her father-in-law has multiple wives, but her husband only has her. Her father-in-law, her husband's father, has multiple wives. I think he's African, but her husband only has her. In my thought process, and I don't know much about it, I would say that there has to be some type of an understanding between the wives. Like, one wife should know and be receptive that this is what you're going to do, or even given the choice. Because she may not want to be a part of that. She might not want to be a part of the polygamous lifestyle. I think all of the sister wives were kind of in that thing together. Even, look, Tierra Marie just came up. She's a singer. She's from the Love and Hip Hop, and she was in this type of polygamous relationship, and they knew about each other. It was still screaming toxic, because, look, this is my opinion, because it's not only ladies that need to do work, but all too often men don't feel like they need to do work. But I feel like if men were doing work and did this, it might not be as much out of a place of ego. I would love to see or experience an older man, maybe from another culture, that has maybe been doing it and it lasted for years, in comparison to some of these old scoundrels over here that just feel like they sticking their chest out because they got multiple women, and one of the women is just feeling like, and it's not, look at here. Hagar and Sarah. And Sarah called that woman into her husband's bed. And Hagar was his wife. And then Sarah did not like it after the fact. Things changed. And I can't remember I think the other ones may have been Jacob's wives, Isaac's wives. One of them wound up having multiple wives, and they was competing, having babies, because one couldn't have the babies. I think it was Isaac and Rebecca. And Rebecca couldn't have the babies right off, and they just having babies, and you thinking having babies is gonna make him love you more. No, he's in love with that one. So it can always be hard. I'm just leave that right there, because it can always be hard. They go back to biblical time. But I think it's just if men are doing it in a way of just wanting to stick their chest out and there's been no work done, I think that makes it worse. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. I think that makes it worse. So I said all of that to say Kevin Gates' wife had no clue that he was out here just marrying other women. Him and Brittany Renner only stayed married for like 50-something days, and then they were divorced. And then after he got divorced from from Brittany Renner, his real wife filed for divorce. So I don't know if they are totally divorced or if they're in the process of divorce, but I don't even really follow Kevin Gates, but I've heard a lot of not so great things from people online, as well as people that I know personally that follow him more so. A lot of negative things that scream to me, you need to sit down somewhere in the corner, Mr. Gates, and do some self-work and stop up here on these social media streets. On these social media streets, you could be anything that you want to be. I can do anything. Things to know, ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. You can be what you want to be on social media. People don't know you, they just know what you perceive. Portray, excuse me, I know words. They just know what you portray. And if you is portraying this lavish life, people tend to want to jump on the bandwagon. That's another way of seeing a prosperous man. You see something you don't know. I just said you don't know what's going on in the inner courts. You just know what it looked like. And you want that. You want to follow that to the ruin of your body and your flesh. To utter destruction of your health. Come on now. So then after Brittany Renner was divorced from Kevin, then she went back, and O'Shea Duke Jackson's were back to the streets. I'm not going to say she went back to the streets, but you no longer saw her dressing in Muslim apparel. She was dressing in Muslim apparel and everything. After she divorced from Kevin Gates, she was back to dressing how she was dressing and online doing Brittany Renner things. And I don't know if all of that was a show to try to rev up the fact that she was getting ready to go back on Love and Hip Hop, but I want to say they said something about her not having the Love and Hip Hop check anymore. So then you see her in the video cussing out her baby daddy that you didn't want no more because you wanted Kevin Gates, is what I'm being told. This part is allegedly, because I'm not sure that I'm just hearing that watching podcast. So she was with the basketball player. I think when I met her when I first came in contact with her on Love and Hip Hop, that was why she was there, because she had been with the basketball player and they had a baby or what have you. Basketball wives, excuse me, not Love and Hip Hop. Basketball wives. And so now he's moved on. He has a wife, and you are making this big scene in front of your child with the father of your child, when the goal is that we be able to co-parent in a peaceful manner, because nobody really gets hurt from that but the child. And it screams that you might be a little hurt from the fact that the man moved on. That's what it's giving. Like, I didn't hear anything going on between Brittany Renner and her child's father until after the breakup with her and Kevin Gates. And then here she comes with this viral moment where you're going at it with him when he comes to get the baby. And then you begin to pluck at his new wife, who didn't say anything. You just started plucking at her. Those things would make someone question if you're really doing your self-work, if you are really digging into that shadow. I think that her and her mother have issues. Like, my heart goes out to Brittany Renner, but at the same time, as long as social media is your first and foremost source of income, which it seems like it is, I just have to wonder, is the work truly going to get done? Or is this what you say so that you can keep your people coming back to watching you? So, I'm gonna keep you prayed up, Brittany. I'm gonna keep you prayed up, but I don't want you to be thinking back after it's too late saying, "Ooh, if I'd have known the beginning and the end of my folly." Now you in utter destruction. I'm not gonna say that you were playing with the Most High God. I would hope not. My hope is that in your daily life, once you turn the cameras off, you are still calling out to the Most High God for true inner peace. Because without that, it's just a front. It's just folly. It is just foolishness. I love you, Brittany. Now let's talk about Kiki. And in conjunction with Kiki, we're going to talk about this Kendra G that I watched. This was the first time I watched Kendra G. And I'm going to talk about this because only if I'm going to say that men have their place, then I have to be able to say, or men have their fault, then I have to be able to call a woman to the mat. I said it about Phylicia Rashad, and I love her dearly. But she is the common denominator of 3 husbands. Kiki is the common denominator of, I don't know if she married 3 or had 2 husbands and 2 boyfriends, but you're the common denominator. I think she had 2 husbands and 2 boyfriends. Could be 3 husbands. I don't remember. I apologize. Forgive me. But the thing that she and the young lady from Kendra G had, because this young lady on Kendra G is an RN that's on her way to a millionaire, but nowhere near it. These her words. I'm on my way to the millionaire, but I'm on the low spectrum, so low that she never gave Kendra G what the dollar amount was, to where she is on this road to a millionaire, while she is saying that she needs a millionaire to come take care of her and her 4 children. 4 children by 1 baby daddy, that is. 4, and that ain't me knocking somebody that got multiple baby daddies, but if you got one, I'm giving you the kudos. I come from a mother with multiple baby daddies, but I am a mother with 1 baby daddy. And we was together for 15 years and married for 9 of those. And no, we are not together anymore. So this is not me passing judgment on anybody. But she had 4 children with the man. And then he wasn't good enough no more. And that is what her and Kiki have in common, because she had 4. And this is what the husband said. We had 4 children together, and then he wasn't good enough anymore. And He accused her of emotional instability. No person wants to be told that they are emotionally unstable. But if you are the common denominator of all of the breakups, if I would say this about a man, I just came up here and said a man can be for the streets too. They just think that they're not because they're men and they are much more haughty than us. But it would be a haughty thought process to think that you are not the common denominator. You have went out here and had 4 children by one man. You are the common denominator of 4 different men, and I don't know how many years have passed. But 2 husbands. I really think the third one was a husband too, but I could be wrong. But you've been divorced twice, and you was shy, not quite shy of each divorce before you was in it with another man. You ain't give yourself enough time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, and just get to know thyself. That's what I would say about the woman on Kendra G. Like, you want this man to come in, because she wanted that man to come in and take care of all the bills. She was like, I'm the help me so I can help. Kendra was like, well, why you can't pay the mortgage? Like, she got an inheritance, so she was used to living in a certain way because of an inheritance. But without the inheritance, you are just trying to raise 4 children off of your low part of $1 million of a millionaire base income. And then you want, this is what I be saying, because I be listening to the men. Now, don't nobody want to listen to the people that you are calling into these spaces to just take care of all of your wants and desires and needs, not trying to figure out what his wants and desires and needs are. That's a little bit delusional. That's a little bit delusional. You have to know, because she said, look, she said if you was coming with you and 1 child or you and just yourself, she said, this is Kendra G, you could stay in his bachelor pad potentially, but once there are 4 children, now he got to uproot and buy a bigger house because he got to take care of you and your 4 children. And I think she said one of them was in college. And I don't know if she said the other was maybe with the dad or something. I think she said 2 would be there on a regular basis. But that doesn't mean that you are not wanting him to be financially responsible, because if the other one is in college, it's not particularly that one is working. I'm just saying. I read my Facebook, my people on Facebook was just giving her daughter's father the utmost kudos for the father and the granddaddy that he is, and said we have to start giving these men their flowers. And I believe giving them their flowers would be inviting them to a conversation about how we gonna do this and what we gonna do if you are chosen, and communicating beforehand so that we are not dealing with some of these things in the aftermath, like baby daddies that we can't stand, and baby daddies that we feel like ain't holding up their part of the bargain, and they not baby daddy in the way that we feel like they should baby daddy because we didn't think about that in the interim. All that I'm doing is calling us to some critical thinking. That's all that I really wanted to say about Keke Wyatt. I'm not even going to talk about the rest of her and her son. I ain't talking about none of that. All that I'm saying is Keke Wyatt is the common denominator of men. So if you become the common, and if you keep changing relationships and changing relationships and changing relationships, when does it become you and not the man? Or is it forever going to be the man? Because that is the epitome of passing the buck. All right? All right, y'all. I was done. So we done talked about that couple on Instagram that was cooking that dinner, and that man done washed that chicken like he was told. Wash that chicken in that soapy water. We done talked about Bad Baby. We done talked about Brittany Renner and Kiki Wyatt. We done talked about the crazy AI Tupacs and crocodiles and things. And we done talked about your body, flesh and your body and your health being consumed by foolishness. If you can ever come back from it, some people never come back from it. Hello, beautiful. This is what you don't want. You do not want your flesh and your body to be utterly destroyed by folly. That's foolishness. You do not want your health to be ruined because you fail to want to get your moral compass right. Beautiful. Take the deepest, hardest look at yourself. Sylvie loves you, and I am